Hey, what's going on, everyone? It's your boy Sean, aka Canadian Footy Guy, here to give you a quick recap on Liverpool's 1-1 draw with Burnley. Now, before I get into the game, like most of you, I'm frustrated with the squad right now. I'm frustrated with Arne Slot. I just don't think he's getting his message across, or the message he's relaying to the players, they're just not connecting. Like, looking at how they're playing, and I've discussed this with Noel on the podcast already. When we look back at last season, the slight adjustments or the tweak from what Jurgen Klopp, how his style of play was to what we're seeing now is night and day. He tweaked it last year. We were still moving the ball with a good pace. We were attacking with meaning, with like every possession, there was a threat of a potential goal. We're not seeing that this year. We're seeing slow ball movement, struggling to break down the defense, struggling to do anything in the final third. I mean, we're drawing with Burnley. We're drawing with teams like Leeds, and no disrespect to them. I know fans are going to come for me. But when you're the defending Premier League champions and you're going up against teams that have just been promoted, they shouldn't be on the same pitch as you in the sense of tying it late in the game. You should be able to put that game away early enough where you can walk away, have a lead, get young players on the pitch where they can get some minutes. But no, on the other, it's the total opposite, where we're struggling to maintain leads. We're struggling to walk away with 3 points. If you look at our record, yeah, we may have a bit of an undefeated run, but we're not winning. And that's what he's supposed to be doing. Arne Slot just, like I said, I don't know if his message is getting across to the players or the players have tuned him out. For me personally, I've tuned him out. I'm questioning if he's the right man for the job. Like, is he a 2-year, and he's going to be out? You see that in this January window, the club's not spending any money to help him. They gave him plenty of money in the summer window to revamp the squad, to put his stamp on it. And yeah, you may have one or two players that are starting to round into form. Well, Ekatike has been solid from start. Florian Wirtz is definitely stepping his game up. You can say Kirkes is showing improvement, but at the end of the day, the expectation that we had for all those players plus more haven't been met. And that's disappointing if you're a Liverpool fan. And I'm sure many fans out there are frustrated. You can go on social media and you can see it. Many are calling for Arne Slot's head. Many saying, bring in Xavi Alonso, although you're seeing rumors that he may be going to Spurs. Like, that's where we are right now. We made a decision, after Jurgen Klopp to go with Arne Slot. He was successful in year one. Well, with the core of the team from the year before, basically. So he was just walking in and taking over what Jurgen had built. He tried to put his foot on it or his stamp on it this past offseason, and it hasn't been the success that I think all the fans were hoping and anticipating, especially with the big signings and the big money that we spent. Now we're in fourth on the table. We're struggling to try to shrink the gap from the top teams. Fortunately, like this past weekend, all the teams that are ahead of us had horrible results. Villa lost, City lost, and Arsenal drew. So the gap between us and first hasn't changed. The gap between us and second, I guess, did shrink by a point. But at the end of the day, that's not, getting a single point each week isn't helping us. Teams below us are slowly creeping back up. We need to be getting wins. Arne Slot should be getting his team ready week in, week out to get wins. We've got a big match coming up, Marseille, Wednesday, back to Champions League match. So, will that be what turns us back or gets us back into form? Will Mo Salah be reinvigorated since the AFCON? I've been watching that, and he looks outstanding. Hopefully he can get back into form when he comes back with the club. We don't know. We all saw the little mess before he left, so hopefully that's in the past, and they can all put things forward or put it to bed and move forward with just trying to get things back on track as a club. Can we finish first? It's very unlikely, but we can show a lot more than what we've shown, and we should be able to start to pull away from the teams below us, so at least we can secure a Champions League spot. We still are in the FA Cup. We had a good game against Barnsley the other day, 4-1 win. Not necessarily the most convincing win, a few ugly moments, or at least one specific, but we won't dwell on that. But that's kind of where the team has been, hot and cold, up and down. No consistency with regard to getting wins or performances. And, they need to do that for the rest of the season in order to, still have a chance in the Champions League run, which they should, if I'm correct, they will secure a spot into the next round, but the knockout stages at least. But still, we want an improvement on where we did last year, where we finished last year. And then again, within the league, you gotta be top four. It's plain and simple. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. You have to finish top four. You spend all that money. If you have any opportunity for next season to kind of rebound for this ugly season this year, you need to finish in top four, right? Because that'll ensure that maybe you can bring in the defensive additions we'll need to bring in to solidify our center back, because it has been an area of concern this season. Our target that we had all last offseason, Margehi, he's now a City player. Don't get me going on that. It's not like City are playing great football right now, so they seem like they're just trying to add whoever they can to try to keep in that title race. So we'll see how that falls into place. But from a Red standpoint or a Liverpool standpoint, from all those diehard fans, whether they're there game in, game out, wherever we're watching from, we want to see better football. It's plain and simple. Whether it's slot for the rest of the season, whatever the club needs to do, but things need to change. We need to get back on the winning results. We cannot continue down this path of dropping points in games at Anfield that we should not be dropping. That's the other issue. It's not as if, we're struggling on the road. We're dropping points at home, a place that used to be a fortress, and that needs to go back to what it once was. It needs to have that vibe where away fans dread walking into that stadium. And listening to it, seeing the vibe, it hasn't been what it used to be, at least not what it was up to last season. So let's see if they can right the ship. Let's see if things can go back to what we were seeing last season, even at the beginning of the season, where they were showing fight, they were showing heart, they were showing grit. We need to see a little bit more of that. So I could sit here and, like I said, I could come up with a lot more negative mindset or negative comments with regard to the club, the team, how they're playing, their performances, but I'm lost for words when it comes to that. So all I can do is try to be a little bit optimistic, hope that things can turn around sooner rather than later. And like I said, we can solidify our top four. And you know what? Maybe it's the FA Cup we go on a run and win a trophy. Maybe it's the Champions League, whatever it needs to be. This team needs to do something to get the fans back behind them 110% all in, but not with the kind of performance we saw this past weekend. Things like that need to change, need to stop. So is Slot in trouble? I think so. I don't know what your take is. I'd love to hear from you guys. Noel will be back. If you guys remember, he is heading to the Conference League game. His European night, him and his dad in Portugal. Have a blast, my brother. I know you guys are going to have your fun. We will reconnect when you get back. As usual, if you're not already, smash that like button. And of course, don't forget to subscribe. We'll see you guys soon. Peace. Have a good one. Take care.